Hey, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So for today I'm going to share with you how I made these two very simple to make cards. And I'm starting off with some distress mixed media white paper and with a piece of white copy paper. And the white paper, I'm placing the white paper on a card and I'm using a blending tool to make a straight line with some distress ink, with picked raspberry, and when I'm done it looks like this. And the next step is that I'm going to take some acetate, squeeze some mustard seed on it and spritz it with some water, and I'm pressing it on the cardstock like so. And I'm going to clean it off. And the next thing that I'm doing is that I am drying my card with a heat tool, and when this is done, I'm going to stencil with the Letticework. This is a stencil from Holtz, and I'm stenciling with some distress ink, spun sugar, and I'm just stenciling in the corners and on the sides. And I will be doing some more stenciling with another stencil. And I think that's the Polkadot stencil. Yeah, and I'm using some vintage photo here. Just very randomly. And here I am coloring the edges with some vintage photo distress ink. And that's it for the background. Next thing what I changed is the color of the edges. I thought it was a little bit too soft, so I decided to make it black. Right now it looks very harsh, but it will all turn out just the way I like it. So yeah. Now I'm going to draw in a border. Actually, I'm going to doodle a border. This is just free-handed, and for this part I'm using a Posca pen. But if you don't want to draw a border, you can leave it, or use a stamp, or anything else for that matters. And I'm not being too neat. I'm just doing it very quickly and just, yeah, I'm just having fun. Usually I don't draw on cards, but why not? And we're almost done with the doodling part. And for the elements, I just took my little box with stamped images and cut out dies, and I just grabbed something, and this is what I have chosen. And the flower comes from the Wildflower stamps set, and the fly comes from the Entomology stamp set. And The flower has been cut out from some black cardstock, and I'm using the same pink, the picked raspberry. What I use for the card, I bring it back to the little fly. And those are some pearls. And let's not forget the washi tape. The washi tape comes from the butterfly set. Anyway, I will list all the products that I've used in the description box down below, so don't you worry. It's going to be fine. I'm starting with the washi tape, and the flower will go on top. And I'm just using some wet adhesive. Usually I use double-sided tape, but when it's just for one thing, no. I'm going to do it a little bit different. And the card is almost finished. Now, I was thinking about putting those buttons on a card, but I didn't like the look of it, so I changed it, and instead of the buttons, I'm going to use the pearls. They're not really pearls, they're made of glass, or plastic, I don't know. But I kind of like them. And the only thing that I need to do is to choose the sentiment, and this is one that I printed out myself. I'm just taking some black soot to color it, because I thought that the white was a little bit too much. And I'm going to draw a border around it, like so. And I'm just going to stick it on a card. And I will use a black card base. And that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Right. Oh yeah, because this sentiment was printed on some coffee paper, I decided to use a glue stick. And now it's time to adhere the card on the card base. And we're done with card number 1. Okay, moving on to the next card. I've cut out some black smooth cardstock, which will fit in the folder, and I wet it with some water, because if you don't wet the paper, the folder will tear it up, or you will get holes in your paper, and you don't want that. I am putting the folder through my Bigz shot machine, and when I am removing the paper from the folder, I've noticed that the paper is still a little bit damp, so I am drying it with my heat tool. And when the paper is dry, I'm going to grab my trimmer and cut off the ugly edges. Just very thin slices. And now I've decided that I wanted to use my gilding wax from Coosa. We are going to be needing just a little bit of the wax onto the blending foam, and when you think you've put too much on it, you can just remove it on a piece of paper, and then very, very lightly you will wipe, or you will color the cardstock with your blending foam. Just very lightly. You just want to feel the erased areas of the 3D folder so that you don't smear the whole card under the wax. So yeah. And the second thing that I did is that I wanted to use a piece of black scrap paper for the background. And because of the focal point being black as well, I thought that the background would be nice if that was also gold. This butterfly is the Tattered butterfly, the Bigz one. I really like that butterfly. I use it a lot. Well, as you can see, I am coloring the black cardstock with the gilding wax. And once again, don't put too much on it. Just be sure that the layer is nice and even. Like so. And then be sure to clean off your table or your working space. And the next thing that I will do is that I'm going to use a stencil with some stickles. And I won't be using the stickles in the small bottles, but I will use stickles in the roundish bottles. It's more, I don't know, it's a little bit more, it has a little bit more gel. It's more jelly-like, jelly-ish. I don't know if that's even a word. So anyway, I will use a spatula and just wipe it on the stencil. And the reason why I'm using stickles is because I'm not really afraid to make a mess of it. And you just have to give it a lot of drying time. That's the only downside. But I prefer to use these kind of glittery things than actually the dry glitter, because using dry glitter is a recipe for a big mess. Or a recipe for disaster. I've been using glitter last Christmas for my Christmas cards, and I can still find glitter on my desk. So I don't know if I will be using dry glitter anytime soon. Probably not. So this is a good alternative. And this is the butterfly, and I'm just going to glue it together in the middle part. And I will decorate it with these pearly things. I love the combination of the black cardstock with the gilding wax, the golden gilding wax. I really think it's pretty, and I think I'm going to make some more cards with this combination. Why not? So this is how I want it to be, but I think the butterfly needed some decoration. So I'm using the adhesive, And this adhesive dries clear, so that's another reason why I prefer to use this one. And you just set it aside and let it dry. Be patient. Well, that's something that I don't have. And sticking it down on the card. You can even use a sewing machine if you have one. That would be cool as well, I think. And here I was playing with the placement and just figuring it out, basically. And after I finally made a decision, I went for option number 1. Back to the black suit. I just want to color the sentiment. And again, I will make a border around it. And the next thing that I will take is the matting layer that I already pre-cut it. And the matting layer has been cut out from some golden cardstock, and I used some black cardstock for the base card. And how I make matting layers is just I'm just going to eyeball it, really. I'm just taking a pencil and taking a card, putting it on the back side of the cardstock, and I'm just going to scribble some lines on it, and I'm going to take my trimmer, and that's basically it. Why, this is handmade, and I feel like those little imperfections give it a little character. So yeah, why not? I can never ever draw a straight line, not even with a ruler, so I'm not even going to try. It is what it is. That's me. That's how I roll. And now we're going to put it on the black base card, which you can barely see on the screen. The card on the black base card. And we're done. Almost. Almost done. You just need to do one little tiny thing. It's removing some of the adhesive, what is seeping through the paper. And now I'm going to stick down the sentiment. And that's it. That's it for this card. So that's the end of this video, and I hope that you had fun and that you liked the video, and I hope to see you the next time. So be careful, stay safe everybody, and keep on crafting. See you next time. Bye bye.